How's it going, everyone? Right in the eye here. Back to you guys with another video. Today's video is going to be about the AMD R9 Fury X. And today we are looking at another Amazon listings here that I found, showing us some pricing and availability and stuff like that on the R9 Fury X from AMD. And as I see right now on Amazon, we have 3 different listings here. I can refresh for you guys to see if there's any others. Nope, not yet. But it's unfortunate the Gigabyte one doesn't have an image there, but they will all look basically the same. I mean, no board partners can change the PCB on this card, so they're going to all look like this. They might change the logo on the fan on the AIO, but other than that, it's going to be exactly the same. So let's get into it here. So this is the actual card. This is the way it looks. It is 7.5 inches long. It comes with an all-in-one liquid cooler that stands 2.5 inches thick of clearance from front to back of the radiator. Up and down is going to be, it's going to fit into 120 millimeter fan mount, as well as you're going to take into consideration the little bit of underlay there that you see on the bottom, which is the reservoir. Some more images. Here we'll look at the ports. So it has 3 HDMI ports on it. 3 display ports on it and 1 HDMI port. But that HDMI port is not going to be a 2.0 port, so you cannot run 60 Hz on 4K, only 30 Hz on the HDMI port. But you do have 3 full-size display ports. And here you can see that it has 2 8-pin PCI Express connectors for a total of 375 watts of TDP. So it's going to run cool because it has an all-in-one cooler, but it is going to take up power in your system. Here's another spot. And as you can see here, they also don't have the crossfire fingers because they're going to do that through the motherboard. This image here also shows just how flush it is. I mean, it's pretty clean looking, and I guess that's like a rubberized piece at the top there. And this particular kit by VisionTech does come with a it's either an HDMI or a DisplayPort to DVI port. Getting into the specs here, this card does come with 4 gigabytes of HBM memory. Now, why only 4? I have no idea. When it's comparing to its competitor, the Titan X, as far as being the top tier cards of both AMD and NVIDIA, the Titan X comes in at 3 times more than that at 12 gigabytes, and then comparing it to the 980 Ti, which is priced per performance, competition at $650, even though this one's at $700. It does have an MSRP of $650, but the Ti has 6 gigabytes, and this one only has 4. So I don't understand how they can do 4K gaming with a card that comes with so much less memory, although the high bandwidth memory might register in memory usage differently than DDR memory, which would probably be the case, but it still has a little bit. You know, they could have raised the price of this thing from maybe $650 and bumped it up to $750, $850 or something like that, and gave us a little bit more memory here to work with, especially when moving into 4K gaming. And the other interesting thing that I found here, and we'll look at the rest of the specs in the graph that I already prepared, but this one is by XFX. It's hard to say. And this one only says that says that it has 4 gigabytes of DDR5 memory, which doesn't make any sense. Pretty sure that's just a typo, but as you can see here on the different manufacturers and different partners they have will change the fan logo there, I guess, which is kind of interesting. But they can't change the board designs. Yeah, and the Gigabyte one is just the same. All right. So let's move into the graphs here, right here. Okay, so we have in this graph the R9 Fury X with the 980 Ti, Titan X, and 980, comparing them all together with the competition. VRAM, it does have 4 gigabytes compared to 6 gigabytes on the Ti, 12 on the Titan X, and 4 on the 980. It does have 4096 stream processors, and it has a 1050 base clock, but it also has a 1050 boost clock, which is kind of interesting compared to the 1000 and 1075 on the Titan X and the Ti. Memory clock is at 1 gigahertz effective, which is kind of interesting because we have interesting now I think about it, because we have on the Ti that is at 7 gigahertz, which is interesting. It has a 512 gigabyte memory bandwidth compared to the 356 on the Titan X and the 336 on the Ti, which is interesting. It does have more texture mapping units, As you can see here, 256 compared to the 192 and 196. The ROP units does have less, as equivalent to the 980 Ti, or the 980, sorry, at 64. And then the compute teraflops, it does have more at 8.6 compared to 6.14, the closest with the Titan X. And the TDP, we're at 250 on all of the Maxwell cards, and then this one has a 375 watt TDP, which we're used to that by now. All AMD cards usually have a higher TDP, regardless if they have an all-in-one cooler or not. And for pricing, it is at $650, right in line with the 980 Ti at also $650. But is it a better price per performance? If you wanted to, if you had the money, it obviously will give you a better price per performance, because it's so little and it's supposed to be a 4K card. But if you had more money, say Titan X realm money, would you rather have that 12 gigabytes of VRAM, or would you rather have 4 gigabytes of VRAM for the upcoming 4K titles that, well, not in 4K, but the upcoming titles that you can play in 4K? So we're gonna move into the benchmarks here that I'm looking at from Digital Storm's website here. We can jump right in here. The power draw at system load is obviously more at 471 watts here, power draw, compared to the let me just zoom it in a little bit more for you. There you are. Compared to the 435 from the Titan X and the 430 from the Ti. So it does have more power draw. Temperatures are going to look really good at 58 degrees Celsius because it does have an all-in-one cooler compared to 84 on the Titan X and the Ti reference. Haven benchmark, as you can see here, 35.2 frames per second on the Titan X and 34.4 on the Fury X. And with the 980 Ti coming right behind with 32.3. So honestly, you're not getting that big of a difference between the two. Fury X, which is supposed to be their flagship top tier card, even though it costs exactly the same as the Titan X. So either one of two things are happening here. Either Nvidia underpriced their card, or the Fury X is overpriced in the sense that it only comes with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And we all know that VRAM is expensive. That's why we pay so much money for cards that come out that are alternate cards that come with more memory. We pay more money because they're adding more memory to the same stuff, same chip and everything. They're just putting more memory, so it costs more money. So either one of them is underpriced or one of them is overpriced. I have no idea. It's just, I don't understand. But DirectX at 4K on Battlefield 4, the Titan X still is coming in on top at 40.7 compared to 38.9 on the Fury X, and the Ti coming right behind with 37.2. And here's the most interesting one here, BioShock, 57.1 on the Titan X, 56.4 on the Fury X, and the 980 Ti comes at 56.9, so 0.5 higher than the Fury X on the 980 Ti. The Titan X is still on top of all these benchmarks besides the TDP. Crysis 3, which will be our last benchmark here that we're going to look at from Digital Storm, is at 50.3 on the Titan X and 49.8 on the Fury X and 46.9 on the Ti. So the Titan X is still on top of everything. I'm not being a fanboy, I'm just showing you guys the facts. And the Fury X does come in right behind it, so it's pretty good. And it is a little bit higher than the Ti, but the Ti does have 2 more gigabytes of frame buffers, so take it as you will. Alright guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So that's been a look at the AMD R9 Fury X graphics cards, 4 gigabytes of HBM memory. Please like this video if you liked it. Please leave a comment below if have any suggestions, and please feel free to communicate with me if you have any other questions. Please dislike this video if you didn't like it, and please also leave a comment below as to why you did so. This is Right in the Eye. I will see you guys in the next video.